Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing they only listen to Keyshawn and they talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What is going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
This is Key.
What's this?
I don't even know. I was doing it before the thing flipped on me. And I was like, let me just let it ride. I'm gonna let this.
Yeah. You look like an evil villain.
I did. I don't know why I did that, but it just rolled. I rock with it.
That's a new role for you.
That
Usually, you're the silent hero.
Somehow the unsung guy. That's a mistake.
Why? Because you really ain't trying to be a hero?
No, I'm very negative actually in real life. So.
Oh man! All right, what's going on, everybody?
No. There we go.
Whoa!
I saved it. Nobody heard that.
Yeah, appreciate that. We got a very interesting show today, and we have Laura to thank for this because we ask all the time if there's anything you guys want us to talk about or get into or research or whatever. Hit us up, let us know, and she did just that.
Wait, this is L Boogie.
This is L Boogie.
Me and L Boogie got unfinished business.
Woo. L Boogie.
If you rule the world.
Yeah.
Me and L Boogie got unfinished business. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on.
You bringing the hatchet back out?
Bringing it right back out.
Oh my goodness! Get that. What was it? Was that Jason or Michael that had the? No, that was Michael.
That was Michael.
Yeah, Halloween.
Michael. He was corny. All he could do was cut you up.
What was Jason's
That's
thing?
the beautiful thing about Jason. Didn't matter what you did. He could pick up a dead fish and work you over with it. He could do whatever he wanted with anything. Michael Myers, oh damn, my machete. Where's it at? I gotta punch him. I gotta engage in fisticuffs. I can't win. I can't win. I can't do it.
Yeah, Michael was as resourceful, but it was kind of like it was almost too perfect. Like he walked into somebody's house and they just happened to leave a kitchen knife on the counter there. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine Michael Myers having to like go through people's drawers and look for a knife or something like that. Like all the noise and everything, people would have been like. Somebody downstairs. Let's get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
I had a friend explain to me why he got to die in every movie and he never died. Because Michael Myers. Okay. Because he was alive. He was a real person.
Yes.
So how do you die in every movie? This guy was in a mental health ward, broke out, and had the wherewithal to change his mask, put it on somebody else, and escape before they died in his place in every movie. Yeah.
Wait. My wife is very familiar with the Michael Myers movies.
Go ahead and ask her.
It's one of her favorite movie series.
Go ahead and ask her. One of the yeah.
Like
I don't remember which one it is.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Where does it say this?
No, it happened in one of the movies. I forget which one it was. At the end of the movie, there was a guy. He was chained to a truck, I believe.
Yeah.
And he got unalived. And the cops came. They thought they had him.
So PC.
I don't know what you can say on YouTube. Some people say this. They say, I don't know. So, the cops came. They're like, we finally got him. They removed the mask. It was Donald Pleasance. Removed the mask. It was like another cop or something.
Wow.
I was like, nope, can't do it. Now, Jason, that brother almost knocked him off that roof. I don't care. And Jason Goes to Manhattan. That brother almost did it.
Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah.
Give me your best shot.
Is the mask like is his face grafted to the mask or something like that?
Nah, you would think so. He's just swollen behind it, but it's not. Nah, it's not. The early ones, he didn't even have that mask. He had it was like a, I don't know.
Yeah, see, I'm not, I guess I'm not.
He was my guy. No, Jason was my guy.
Really?
Friday the 13th? Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th is Freddy.
No, that's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, you're right.
No, Jason was my guy.
This tells you how terrible I am at scary movies.
On USA.
Was he the one that was drowned at camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was special, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I have a very non-PC joke, and I'm not going to
don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
The counselor, the counselors
man.
were ignoring them. They
Okay.
were doing what they were
Right,
doing.
yeah, let's move on. You know what? We didn't even plan on starting the show like this.
We
What
never
happened?
plan on starting on however we start. We always have this grandeur vision of what we're going to, and it just falls to pieces. Speaking of which, you know why I was late today?
Why?
Because I was being a man, got in the car. I'm like, all right, I got to go to work tonight.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't. No. No. No.
Got into the car, being a man.
I got in the
What
car.
kind of man was he?
So I hit the button. Car comes on. Like, okay, bet. I know the lights on,
Okay.
but I know I got to go to work. I got 26 miles round trip. I'm good. As long as I say 30, I'm set on the gas. 18. I said, oh, I got to get out. So I moved to the gas station. This is like 5:45, and I'm like, I'm already pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I look in the trunk. I said, I ain't got no water. I said, what am I gonna swig on when I gotta get my swig on? So I had to start this right here up here.
Yeah.
But man, when I tell you, just
Wait,
get
you
the
got caught in the
gas.
line?
No, I ain't getting on the line.
Oh.
But just get the gas when you're supposed to get the gas. Don't wait till the last minute. I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it again, but you know, in theory, all the young people at home, don't wait till the last minute to get your gas when you have to do
Oh,
it.
you can't say that. You can't say it like that.
I looked at that thing. I said, "Hoo, hoo, hoo." I
Like,
said,
whatever you want to say on the show, cool. But when you start saying all the young people at home,
yeah,
that puts us in a whole nother stratosphere.
yeah.
I'm not that old.
Nah, you just, nah. But your wife quoted you a couple of times as your age.
See,
so
why you got to bring? Why
I didn't say anything about anything except
nobody mentioned my wife or that conversation.
I didn't mention.
that
I
told
just
you in
said she quoted.
confidence.
I didn't say what it was. I just said I didn't say you had an affliction or anything like this.
No, they got. I mean, you just telling everybody my wife said I'm old.
No, that's okay. I'm older.
She loved to play like that too. Like
T
she
does
ain't right
too.
behind me.
T does too.
Like yeah,
Women saying 40 in every single sentence, yo.
yeah.
Well, T doesn't
That's
say
what
my
they do.
age. She just says I'm old as hell.
Yeah, T ain't got no filter. I love it. No filter at all. So I kind of I was able to get halfway through the Deion Dawkins interview because I watched the clips that you sent. I knew you would love this. I was able to get about 9 minutes and 21 seconds into the interview before I had to shut it off. Okay? I have some notes if you'd like to hear.
Yes, indulge me.
So one of the things that I noticed, because I watched it when I got home, but I listened to it while I was in the car. So
Yo,
usually while I'm listening to it in the car, I can't take notes, so certain things
you're
leave
trying
me.
to turn to shreds. That's what you're trying to do.
Huh?
You already had it saying you're going to turn to shreds.
No, I wanted to hear this interview and I wanted to see if maybe something had changed from the last interview I watched. And of course, he yeah. Anyway,
doubled down? He doubled down.
Yeah, he definitely doubled down. I will say that. So one of the things that Colin Cowherd kept giving him credit for was that he was the highest graded lineman in Buffalo since he's been here.
How hard is that? Okay, go ahead.
Again, you making my point for me. Like, what else can you tout as his
Right.
credentials? 3-time Pro Bowler. Okay, all right. Only allowed 1 sack last season. All right, maybe. Okay, right. But then we get to this. Colin Cowherd asked him about the line play. Mm-hmm. And Deion mentioned that he said, I've had a different guy playing guard next to me since I've been in the league. I thought about that. I'm like, you know what? He's right. And for a second there, I started to back off of him a little bit. I'm like, man, he ain't had no symmetry, no camaraderie,
consistency, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, do I need to really rethink my position on it? But then he gets asked about the symmetry between him and the guard position and how that affects his play. Mm-hmm. So he goes on to say, when you're playing guard, and I don't know because I don't play guard.
Yeah, you never play guard.
My head rolled off my shoulders at that point, bro.
He forgot where he came from.
You're right. Like y'all talked about Temple in the interview. You forgot Temple? You forgot college? when you were a
You
guard.
forgot he played guard at a high level in college.
Yeah, right. A high enough level to get drafted by the Bills. Woo! You know what I mean? Like,
At a high level.
how you open with that? How do you lead the conversation with that? And I don't know because I don't play guard. But this is where it gets better. This is where it gets better.
I'm liking where this is going already.
He says, the guard controls the forward and back of the pocket. Didn't you just say you don't know because you don't play
You
guard?
don't play guard.
Like, that would have been a perfect time for you to just bow out and just leave the conversation alone. I don't know because I don't play guard. Enough said, nobody would have blamed you.
Don't play guard.
Even if you did play in college, you can say,
You can
okay,
gloss
playing
over it.
guard at the NFL level is different.
It's different. You
Okay,
gloss over it.
fine.
Yeah, you could do that.
Right. Well, you can get away with that. You can skate
You
with
can-
that.
you can skate.
But then for you to start talking about what the guard's responsibility is, and you say the guard controls the forward and back of the pocket. If the guard gets pushed back, like vertically back, like
Into the quarterback.
vertically back,
Okay.
like vertically
Vertically.
back,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like up and down, vertically back, right? If he gets pushed back vertically, should I say it again?
Vertically.
Right. So if the guard gets pushed back, like vertically back, then that means the guard is not doing what they're supposed to do, which is holding the line. Okay. The tackles are supposed to keep the width. We're supposed to push everything away.
Right.
So it was a I'll just say this. He did a good job at dumbing it down for those people who have no clue what these players' responsibilities are.
Right.
As if watching them doesn't give them this idea. I mean, okay, fine. I don't know of anybody who watches football who's not intelligent enough to understand the guy that's blocking is supposed to block. He's not supposed to let anybody past him. And if he gets pushed back, that's a bad thing. Right? So anyway, that's the part that I got to where I'm like, okay, I'm done. This is enough.
You tried.
I really tried.
You tried.
I really tried. Then he goes to say, now I thought this was a very interesting point, and I want to see what you think about this. So he said, if Josh is facing a rush, he knows, okay, now this was his hand movement. You watched it, right? But so I'm watching this and I'm looking at his body language because this is how my brain works. He goes, if Josh is facing a rush, he knows, okay, this guy is a little bit less stronger than this guy. Right? He went from left to right. Mm-hmm. Isn't that exactly what the situation is in Buffalo right now? Where your left guard is a little bit less stronger than your right guard, who happens to be a bulldozer.
Yeah, he's humongous, so, I mean,
right?
It happens.
So then he says, if I'm facing a bigger, stronger front, I can step to the right a little bit to get the pass off.
Away from me.
But then I think he must have thought about that after he said it, because then he said something to the effect of, you know, and if I'm moving my guy away, that gives Josh a little bit of space to drift if he needs to drift
To the right.
Because we all know Josh doesn't go left anymore.
Yeah.
He never goes left unless he absolutely has to.
It's almost designed, yeah.
But I thought this was a really interesting thing, how he just subconsciously told us what the situation was in Buffalo. And if he sees it that way, then everybody that's going against that line sees it the same way. Andrew Knight, what's going on, man? So I'm looking at this situation and I'm like, do you not realize how much you've given up right now? I mean, probably not, because I mean he first he doesn't know guard, then he does know guard, and then whatever.
Yeah, that was a good ass interview I just gave. I knocked that out the park.
But what do you think about that? Because like this was my thought. This is my thought, and then I want your reaction to it. When he said that, it painted this picture, and I started to think about it like this. Did Josh go to the team and say, you know what? The way the line is constructed right now, I don't want to have to worry about the pass blocking of my left guard and my left tackle. So I want those guys to be the better pass blockers. My right side of the line, I want to be able to escape right if I need to. So I need those guys to be the people movers, so to speak, right? But if they get beat, I can see it coming. I can get out of the way, right? When you look at the way the line is constructed, the better pass blockers are on the left-hand side of the line. Mm-hmm. And over the years, typically, the Bills have tried to put the best pass blockers on the left side of the line, protect Josh's backside. But is that something that you've seen before or heard of before where a quarterback will say, okay, I want my line built this certain way so that when I'm in the pocket, I can do this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has occurred, but no, I've never heard of it before. And, I mean, obviously I've never paid attention to it to that degree before. But, yeah, there's merit involved in that, because there's all day on the right side with O'Cyrus Torrence. And the only weak side out of the right third component it would have been the center, which is Morse, which will probably now be Connor McGovern, because he didn't give a lot at guard, so I don't know what he's going to give at center. We'll see. But – and they did say Josh has been more vocal now. Josh has been more.
Yes.
And I'm like.
Right. It's exactly. I thought about you too when he said that. I'm like, oh, shit, I don't know if Keyshawn heard this. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, man. That haircut, the little beard. He got the little, he's been there before now. He's got a rugged thing to him now, Dawson Knox wedding, they get to Slosh singing whatever song. If anybody told me what song they were singing at the reception, because they were into it. Deion Dawkins had the cowboy hat on, Josh had his arm, and they were just having a drunk old good time. And I don't know what they were singing, but they knew the words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But to get back to your point though, no, I think if you have that kind of autonomy, there is merit to asking for that in the short term, but in the long term, give me my best five. I don't want the best five. I want the actual best five guys on this offensive line. I don't care. I want to be able to run left. I want to be able to run right. I want to be able to run up the center if I got to. And that's just not happening right now.
So the other thing I thought about too was Deion Dawkins only gave up 1 sack last year. I forget how many downs that was. But I want to go through the schedule really quick. And I want to look at who he might have faced, unless you can pull that up faster. Because I'm looking at the pass rush win rate of the players that he went against.
Well, all right. I don't know how good you are. Well, I do know you're better than me, but I can tell you his best games right now, off the most, the best graded out games, would be Vegas, would be Washington, and Denver. Those were his best games. Okay. His worst games were Jacksonville, the Giants, Jets was so-so. Cincinnati was a train wreck. Cincinnati, the Jacksonville game, and the Giants game were the worst games he had last year.
All right, so Chase Young had Washington's. Let me see.
Actually, no, I'm sorry, Dallas.
Oh, it was Dallas?
Dallas was his second worst game last year.
All right. So Dallas is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons has had the most pass rush wins in the league. His pass rush win rate was 35%, highest in the league. The lowest in the league was Andrew Van Ginkel from Miami, who had an 18% pass rush win rate. 32 wins is how many Van Ginkel had. So
they gave Dawkins credit for 2 sacks against. Josh got hit 7 times by Dawkins.
So where are people getting this one in however many?
I don't know. I mean, I'm even looking at true pressures allowed, and this is based on PFF. So say what you will. The grading sucks, but the stats are accurate. Hurry's 28, and he had 37 pressures against. So, I mean, you're talking about 769 pass blocking snaps.
Okay. But I mean, you're playing in 17 games. And okay, so then let's do that math real quick, right? So you're doing, what are you doing? You're doing
37 divided by 17.
huh?
37 divided by 17 for pressures.
Okay. And that's 2.176, so 2.18.
A game. So 28 in hurry, so 28 divided by 17.
28 divided by 17, 1.65.
And he allowed 7 hits, so that's going to be a percentage of a.
Right, so 7 divided by 17.
So that's
And
that's way down there.
Yeah, it's 0.4.
Yep, and 2 sacks allowed, so we don't even worry about that.
Right, right.
But yeah, so I mean, it's not the worst.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's just like part of the reason I was looking at pass rush win rate is to see like what competition did he go against as far as like elite pass rushers, right? The teams we faced last year, Jets. Who did the Jets have? That's on this list. Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff's pass rush win rate, he was 8th overall at 22%. He had 46 wins. And he played 209 downs, right? He was double teamed 15% of the time, right? Who else did they play? Jets, Raiders, Chargers. Okay, let's see who's here from the Chargers. Nobody's here from the Chargers. Nobody's in the top 20, I should say. Nobody's in the top 20 of pass rush win rate in the league.
Okay.
From the Chargers.
All right. Let's see. He gave up a sack against Pittsburgh and a sack against Tampa Bay.
Pittsburgh had Alex Highsmith with a 21% pass rush win rate, 59 wins out of 282 plays. He was double teamed 18% of the time. So that's 2 guys out of the top 20 so far.
And Tampa Bay is, I don't even know who that is.
Nobody from Tampa.
Okay. Let's see. Who else do we have? Jacksonville. Josh Allen.
Surprisingly, not on the list. Not in the top 20.
Okay. Cincinnati. That's was that Hendrickson?
Hendrickson. Yep, Hendrickson. 56 wins out of 264 plays. 21% pass rush win rate. He was double teamed 18% of the time as well. 3 guys out of the top 20 so far.
So his worst game is Chargers, Jacksonville, Cincy. We did Jacksonville, we did Cincy, we did Dallas already. Pittsburgh, that was the one we did as well. That was a wild card game.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys out of the top 20 last year.
Okay.
Washington, I don't think he saw Chase Young. Chase Young usually played left end, right?
Yeah.
Well, they moved him around a little
there?
bit. Huh?
Yeah, he played against us.
Yeah, he played against us.
Yep, so take it for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, too. Like, Bryce Huff and Micah Parsons, well, actually, I'm sorry, no. Bryce Huff doesn't move around. Just don't do that. Micah Parsons definitely moves around. Trey Hendrickson, I'm pretty sure he doesn't move that much, but I got to go back and look at that. So Hendrickson, I could see that being, just head on, one-on-one competition, the whole time. Oh, you can see if they moved him?
Yeah, I can see how
nice.
You know what we played Cincinnati?
Huh? What week?
Yeah.
We played Cincinnati. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Week 9.
Week 9, 49 snaps he played. He played on the right side, so that would be against Dawkins.
Yep. So strictly against Dawkins that game.
Yep.
Okay, good. So strictly 2 guys, and one of the guys that he played moved around in Micah Parsons. Where's the other guy? Alex Highsmith. Can you look up Alex Highsmith real quick? Okay.
What week is that? Wild card?
Yep, because I don't think we played him during the season. Oh, no. Yeah, it is wild card. Yep.
We played the right side. So he played, just the right side.
So that would have been against Dawkins strictly.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So he three of the top 20 was strictly against him. Right? And of those 4 guys, he gave up the numbers that he gave up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 4 weeks out of 17.
18, because this was in high school.
Oh, that's right.
Was a wild card.
Yeah, that's 4. That's 4 out of 18 weeks. So 14 other weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. You can make stats do whatever you want. All I'm saying is,
yeah. I mean, you can add a narrative, add context to it, but no, stats are stats, and I mean, I don't know if anybody's really going to say that he's bar none the best left tackle in the league or best tackle in the league, whatever he said. I don't know if you can dispute that.
I'm gonna keep building the case too, Laura. I'm gonna come up with some damning evidence that nobody can deny. I promise you that. Watch. Chase was trash last year. Wasn't he fresh off an injury from the year before? A very serious one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
I've never been huge on I want to call him Claypool, Chase Young, but I mean he's got something to him, but that adds to it. If he wasn't that great and he still got over on Deion Dawkins.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So in 2023 he was coming off an ACL injury.
Yeah,
he ruptured his patellar tendon. Yeah, I mean, of course he was going to be trash last year. Yeah. Trey White was not that great, coming off of his. Yeah, right. So it's fine. Yeah. No, so Andrew Knight says, of course, Deion is going to say he's the best. I said this last episode. Players are going to say that because they have to believe that, right? But yeah, right. Andrew Knight says Deion is mid. That's okay.
I mean, I think the damning part of this whole thing is not that somebody gave him that acclaim. He gave it to himself in the interview. He said, "I'm the best left tackle in the game," or whatever. He said, "Best tackle in the game. I'm number one." Well,
his word specifically was, "If I'm not the best, I'm the best."
Right.
Okay, Deion.
So, he's got that macaroni and cheese, stirring it up again, and all this. He's making whatever that was about. I'd never forget that interview. Just guys, you gotta. I think that was like the first time we really knew who Deion was. Like, what? Macaroni and cheese and stir it and add seasoning and then you cook it. Then you stir what?
I just don't know how nobody sees this characteristic he has of switching from hood Deion to uppity Deion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Whenever he switches to press conference Deion, he stutters a lot.
Right,
the context of his words don't make sense because he's trying to be, as grammatically correct as he can. But even at the beginning of the interview, it's like, "What's going on? Thank you." Like, just natural.
Regular Deion, I'll chill with, but the uppity one, nah.
Right? That's hood Deion right there.
I want him. That's what I want. The one McDermott don't like.
Exactly. If he could just be that.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to be the press conference Deion. Just be regular Deion.
Be you. Take your shirt off.
I might have a little bit more.
Put your chain out. You ain't notice? Oh, you don't watch interviews.
Huh?
When Deion take his shirt off, he's real.
Oh yeah. Because he tied it up like crazy.
Yeah, he's real tatted. And something about when he got his jacket on or a shirt on or something, he got to be press conference with Deion.
Yeah.
He got to let it all hang out.
He was out somewhere and was wearing a all black kiln. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. I don't know if he.
I don't know what it was. I think I sent it to you. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, Laura, you got to see this interview. Like that, I promise you'll see the difference when he's hood Deion. He just cool. He talk regular, but then he start talking like this and words don't match.
He's thinking the whole time. You can tell.
Right.
Thinking.
It's like, dude, just let the words out. You don't stutter. That's not your real speech. You don't stutter.
What do you call it? Code switching? Yeah, he be code switching.
Code switching. That's right. That's what it is. He be code switching.
But hey, you got paid. Be you. You're what? 30? Yeah, 30 years old. Be you. Do your thing.
Oh, Roy just said Deion is a step up from Cordy Glendo. You want to take that one?
No, because Roy already put me in timeout for knocking Kyle Williams. He already put me in the clink for that. So nope, I'm not doubling down on this one. Nope.
All right. So, Laura, this is the next case I'm gonna build. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do the research and I'm gonna compare the two dudes. And what's probably gonna happen is Deion's gonna look better because he's had the best quarterback in the league his whole entire
Cordy
career.
was hurt too. Cordy was hurt a lot too.
Yeah, Cordy was hurt a lot too.
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't help.
Both of them should have been guards and not tackles
Yes.
to begin with. I mean, that's something you and I talked about that with Cordy Glenn too when he was here too.
Yes.
So, oh man, they going in on Cordy Glenn. Andrew said, a ham sandwich is a step up from that bum.
Cordy Glenn? I wasn't a fan of Cordy Glenn at tackle, but I mean, when I look at Cordy and I look at Deion, they're almost synonymous.
That's what I'm saying.
They're
Like
almost
a healthy
synonymous.
Cordy Glenn is Deion Dawkins.
They're about the same.
Again, the biggest difference between the two dudes is Deion has had Josh and Cordy Glenn has had
Whoever. He had what? Trent, he had Fitz. What do you
Tyrod.
I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it.
A lot of singing on this episode right now.
I ain't doing it.
I mean, Tyrod. Is it possible that Tyrod ruined Cordy Glenn's career?
Are you really doing this to me right now? Are we really doing this right now? How? How is that even possible? How? I'm trying so hard right now. How?
It's just a question out of sheer curiosity.
I think there's a 0% chance of that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
Not gonna put me on that cross. Yeah. Not gonna put me in that imported Glacier Isle. They know they got this from
funny.
Grant Street. It's probably from the foot of Ferry. What do you think? It was only $1 and some change.
What kind of water is that?
Glacier Isle, imported Glacier Isle. It's not even a really name on it.
Oh, that's straight out of the waterfront over there.
Yeah,
All that brown
yeah.
stuff
Front
they-
part, yep.
Yeah.
They don't even get out of the water. They get it out of a little the splash pad. They put the bottle under there.
Wow. Bully says Cyrus Quangio is better than Cordy Glenn.
Jesus, Miriam.
You done did it now. Cyrus Quangio? Cyrus Quangio, though?
All right, I'm done. I can't do this today. Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, Cyrus Quangio was one of those other players that was like almost as bad as Tyrod Taylor to you.
Cyrus Quangio was found in a field naked. This happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
That happened. He lost his mind. He was up there with Zay Jones. Cyrus Quangio and his brother Cyril were bums. They were uber bums.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that too? Roy says Cordy had EJ Manuel too. So EJ Manuel was playing behind Cyrus Quangio and Cordy Glenn.
And don't make a mistake.
Well,
Don't mess up. Okay.
no. EJ Manuel ruined EJ Manuel's career, Andrew. He said Cordy Glenn ruined EJ Manuel's career for sure.
You know what? I don't think EJ. I can't go with either one. I think Doug Marrone. That's my vote.
Yes.
Doug Marrone is my vote.
Yes.
Now, was EJ going to be like Josh? No, he wasn't going to be Josh. Was he going to be Tyrod? Whatever.
See,
but
I think EJ Manuel, if he had been given the weapons in the line, I think he might have been one of those players that could have evolved into like a Dante Culpepper-esque.
yeah, I think he would
type
have been
of
at
player.
least like Geno Smith still hanging around somewhere.
Yeah, something like that. Where he's not great, but if you
Right.
put a great team around him, you can get the job done.
Right. I think his charisma is what got him out of there. The fact that he was good behind the camera, nice looking dude. They got him on was it ACC or whatever it was right away. So I mean, he's making good money. He's having a good time. I follow him on Instagram. I don't feel bad for him because he's living a better life than me. But no. I think looking back on it, we never had. Matter of fact, I got a stat for you later. What was this show about? Because how do you want to do this? Because I have something that goes that like dovetails off of what you got to say, but I also had one stuff that I wanted to mention too.
Well, let's do the stuff first.
Okay, stuff. Let's see. So I was on a pod. Well, I wasn't on the podcast, but I happened to be watching a podcast, and the topic was, is Josh possibly the greatest dual threat quarterback of all time? Oof. And my response was, personally, Josh is already borderline the best quarterback in Bills history. He goes down as our great. Give me the Super Bowl. Josh can get the VIP at the parade. Person responds to me, stats, yes, but Kelly brought 4 back-to-back. Never in your life forget that. Sure, he lost, but bro, that's still epic. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, here's one good reason why it's not epic. People gotta keep in mind there was no free agency back then. There was no people hiring coordinators to turn them into head coaches as frequently as they do now. You know what I'm saying? If you had coaches on your team, they were just there until they got fired. So if you had a good one, you were good for a long time because not only did you have to worry about not losing players, but you kept your staff around too. Mm-hmm. So for them to go 4 years like that with everybody in-house and adding on to all that greatness, like, heck yeah, that should have been the way it was.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, like, who was the Bills' Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City back then? Because, we lost to Dallas – but we didn't play Dallas every year in the regular season. They have to go and see them again. So, I mean, I don't have, the wherewithal to even think about who we couldn't beat. But obviously it was the Super Bowl itself that we couldn't beat because it was a whole NFC East that was not given an inch to us.
Right.
I literally can't believe that we lost to every team in the NFC East except for Philly. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. What did he do? All I got together and say, if it's not us, it's you. This is how we did it. Now it's your turn. Rumble, young man, rumble. What is this? I mean, why is everybody kicking the Bills in the butt day? But
it's divisional pride.
When I sit back and I look at this, I'm like, okay, me being objective as I can, Josh is borderline the best quarterback in Bills history. We've already discussed that if he stopped right now, maybe not total yardage, maybe not total touchdown, maybe not total whatever, but he's still got better stats than Jim Kelly per game, per capita, per performance. He's a better performer. He's a better athlete. He's a better probably football player than Jim Kelly. Yeah. Jim Kelly just happened to have 2-3 greats on the offense and an all-world on defense. Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett. And I can't wait to get into the show on Friday with the Mount Rushmore to the defense because I'm not going to add them. I'm going to mention them because I got a lot of honorable mentions on the defensive side that I didn't want to use. But to say that Jim is better than Thurman, that's like homerism to his peak.
So Laura says sometimes it's really hard to compare 90s football to 2020s football.
Very hard.
Such different games. That's like comparing 1970s leather helmet days to now. I'll say this, and then you can tell me what you think. I think there is a level to comparing that you can do based on player traits, player talent level, the ability of the player, like how many different things can they do, how diverse is their game. Things like arm strength matter. You know what I'm saying? Like all that, there are certain things that you can measure up against today's game. And although players have much more advantages in today's age, like, better medicine, better, post-game care, better pre-game care, better, physical training and stuff like that, more knowledge about the body and different things that you can do now to make the body last longer. I'll say this. You could say, or better yet, let me say it like this. It would be much easier for you to talk about extrapolating players' play from then to now than it would be for you to say this player could easily play in today's game. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You could take their stats and you can say, okay, if they were throwing the ball as much as players today are throwing the ball, their stats would have looked like this. And that would be a direct comparison because you're matching up attempts for attempts and result for result, right? So I think you can compare in certain ways.
Yeah, you can.
I try not to be the type of person that definitively says something one way or another unless there is irrefutable fact. Because there's caveats to everything. That's one of my sayings now. I'm just gonna get a T-shirt made of it.
Do it.
But yeah, it's tough because when you look at what the '90s Bills did, and then you look at what this Bills team this year has done over that, well, not this year, but this franchise, you look at what they've done over the last 6 years. To the '90s Bills' credit, you could say, well, this iteration of the Bills never even made a Super Bowl, and they were better. But then you could also say, okay, well, there's much more parity in the league than there was back then because they had no free agency. You know what I mean? So there's all these little, different nuanced things that you can throw into the conversation to kind of, tip the scale one way or another. But I find it interesting that people don't like to compare now to then. You can. If you really want to, you know what I'm saying? It's just you got to do some math.
Well, I was going to say, if you look at the situation like you said, where you always had the same targets, you always had the same coach, you had the same. I mean, you look at the Bills. We didn't worry about losing Thurman Towns. We didn't worry about losing Bruce Smith. We didn't worry about Jim Kelly. We didn't worry about any of these things. And if you look at numbers for numbers, game for game, just looking at their completion percentages, their interceptions, pick sixes, touchdown percentages. I mean, Josh Allen's beating them in everything, everything you can think of. So, I mean, it's hard to make a case. And the thing about it is the homerism is alive because that's not even what the post was about. Unless you're telling me Jim Kelly's in the running to be one of the best dual threats of all time, why did you even comment?
Yeah, who just said that? Roy said the same
thing.
See,
that's why
Jim
I didn't
Kelly
say anything about Cordy, or what was it, Cordy Glenn? I wasn't doing it because me and Roy are in lockstep. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Why, if we're not talking about the topic at hand, why even bother? And somebody came in. I didn't see it. Somebody came in after me. Was like, I didn't. I looked at it today and it was like, I think that's kind of what he was saying. It's not a perfect science, but if you're sitting here telling me Josh Allen's not the best quarterback the Bills have ever had, then I don't know what you're talking about. Even if you saw Jack Kemp, even if you saw Joe Ferguson, even if you saw these guys,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, Joe Ferguson was probably the closest thing. Let's see, was it Ferguson or was it? I don't know. It had to be Ferguson. Maybe would be the closest thing to Josh Allen in terms of athleticism and that kind of thing, because we really haven't seen it.
Right.
I mean, Tyrod, whatever, you say what you want. He didn't really want to get out there. If he had to, he did, but he didn't want to get out there.
Right.
And that's not me taking a shot on him. That's facts.
Right. He was. That was one of the things that I think was coached out of him. Right. Because I think at Virginia Tech he was a little bit more of a runner.
He was a little scrambler.
Yeah, but he gets drafted by Ozzie Newsome. And he goes and works under who was his man? Now I can't even remember who his quarterback's coach was. I think he was under Cam Cameron when he was there.
Was he the quarterback's coach? Because that name was.
I know he was the offensive coordinator.
He was associated. So
but I mean that was something that was coached into him early on, and that's there's different types of players. There's some players that they take coaching to heart and they don't deviate from it because that's what allows them to stay in the league, and that's just what they do. And I think Tyrod was one of those guys. So it's tough.
I he all time is tough. Dual threat all the time. I mean, people forget about Russell Wilson. People forget about Cam Newton. People forget about, even like Lamar Jackson, people like that. I mean, they're up there. Yeah, Josh Allen has more yards passing, but some of these guys have more yards rushing. Some of these guys have more touchdowns. Some of these guys played almost as a little longer than Josh, and they're close if they're not still better.
The fact that Taysom Hill is on this list.
Well, that's because let me say that before that list is garbage is because that's based on all-purpose yards. So that's with his receptions and all that nonsense he does. So,
but I'm like me saying that is just like the man has made such a living off of being a gadget guy, right? And not just a gadget guy, a gadget quarterback. Right. You know what I'm saying?
He's like the best fantasy guy you could get. He plays 3 positions. You can't lose. He's like a flex himself.
Yep. But Bully says Taysom is a football player. Laura said, and the technology, analyzing movement and stats, post-game recovery techniques, medication, treatment of injuries. It's so different, but I still like to compare.
These guys were smoking cigarettes. Huh? These guys were smoking cigarettes.
Oh yeah,
in the locker room.
Oh yeah.
Probably getting away with chewing dip on the sidelines.
Playing the games drunk.
Playing the games drunk. Yeah. See, that's why I like basketball, because basketball has something called a PER. The PER is based on 36 minutes, so it extrapolates everybody's numbers by 36 minutes. So if you only play 1 minute a game, They boost your numbers to 36 minutes. If you play 48 minutes a game, it brings it down. So it all equals itself out, and you can see, what people's worsts are. In football, they need to start thinking about doing stuff like that. They have, advanced metrics, but they're not quite there yet.
Very interesting.
So,
Coke used, dang, they was getting down like that, Bully.
oh yeah, that's basketball. Look where if their mouth was on the side of their face, I'm sorry.
Man,
If their mouth was over here somewhere, you knew they were doing that stuff. because they
offensive
talked
lineman
out the
running
side
out
of
there
their
like Ultimate Warrior. I'm sorry you caught me off guard with that. Just started playing the music. That was too much. That was
Hey,
too much.
you know how I get down. Let's see. I have a quote here. Allen's 47 interceptions since 2020 are the most in the league. One of the most overrated players in NFL. A veteran NFL executive said, immense talent, but has made a lot of mistakes. He's underdeveloped at winning and at the line of scrimmage. Tends to lock on the targets. More of a thrower than a precise passer. Forces throws into traffic. I didn't say this. This was said by a veteran NFL exec.
Can I react to this?
I hope you do.
Okay. Can we decide? Can we just decide who on the team we want to criticize? Because if you want to blame Josh, he has defenses. If you want to blame someone else, that's why football is the perfect team game, because you need everybody to be great in order for it to look pretty, right? But the way the coach wants to build the team, this is what he has to deal with. This is what Josh has to deal with. He's basically, and even Brady said this in his interview, or he was on Eric Wood's podcast a few days ago, and he was saying, you don't want Josh thinking he has to do it all every down. And I love this. Brady even said the specific words. We have to make it easy for him.
This is Joe Brady, just in case you guys.
I'm sorry, Joe Brady. Yeah, not Tom Brady.
At first, I'm like, Tom was on Eric Woods, but then I was like, I get it. When you said, I was just starting, okay,
saying
I got
Brady.
it.
Yeah, my bad. So Joe Brady was on Eric Wood's podcast, and he said we have to make it easy for Josh. Yes, because if you don't, this is what happens. Yeah. This man he's way too used to putting the whole entire team on his back and playing. That's what he did in Wyoming. It's what he did everywhere he's been. Nobody has ever been at his level his entire career football wise. Nobody. The only person he had that was on his level was Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I have to take what you said and go a step further. I mean, this is a us problem.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, think about it. I just criticized Tyrod. I couldn't stand Trent Edwards. Why? What were they all? Too safe.
Yep.
They were all boring. They were all what do you call it? High floor, low ceiling guys. We got a guy here to boom or bust. I'd be remiss if I backtracked and I was a hypocrite and said, you know what, stop with the 47. Because how many touchdowns did he have last year? Was it more than 47 total?
Oh, yeah.
How many turnovers did he have last year? I don't know. Fumbles and interceptions. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. But guess what? I'll take that 2-1, that 3-1.
Yep.
I'll take it. Because I know what I was getting into when I said I don't want that guy. I don't want Tyrod. I don't want Trent. I don't want Randy Orton. Not Randy Orton. Kyle Orton.
Guess who had? See,
RKO somebody.
Can't help yourself. WCW, WWE is all in the blood.
I'm not gonna sing the song.
Go ahead. Sing
No.
it's your time to shine, baby. No, but guess who has more interceptions than Josh Allen in their first 6 years? You gonna guess? Okay.
Let's see. More interceptions in the first 6 years.
Yep. Just give me three. Just give me three people.
All time.
All time.
Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Tom Brady.
Yep.
Brett Favre.
Yes.
Okay.
You could throw in Russell Wilson into that
There you go.
conversation.
I was going to stop there because I impressed myself.
Like a lot of these players that everybody thinks had these great initial starts to their careers,
Yeah.
or had great careers in general. Mm-hmm. Like these dudes were throwing more picks in their first 6 years than Josh Allen has.
It's all what you want.
Right. So it's not even like his stats are so bad. What it really comes down to is the expectation on Josh based off of his skill and talent level is through the roof. And nobody can understand for the life of them why he does not have 2 rings by now. Nobody.
Everybody wants to Kate and Edith too.
That's exactly right. And so because they can't understand that, they start pointing the finger at Josh. Oh, well, what is Josh doing wrong? Oh, well, he's got more interceptions than Lamar Jackson, who doesn't really get asked to throw the ball 30 times a game. Mm-mm. And he's got, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's unnecessary thinking for something that's very simple. The team around him needs to be better.
And you asked a question I was thinking while you were talking. I said, who am I going to blame this year? I'm going Mike Edwards. Why? I don't know why. It's got to be Mike Edwards. That's I'm going there. I'm blaming him for everything already. That's my answer. That's my answer. Mike Edwards.
So I heard something very interesting about the state of safeties in the NFL, and I'll say this because we could segue into the bigger conversation, but I'll just say this: safeties, and this may help your mindset on Mike Edwards and Taylor Rapp and all. I need it, brother. Right. So one of the things that the Bills got a lot of credit for the past 6 years was having two safeties that most coaches and analysts deemed as being interchangeable. Okay, cool, right? But then when you kind of study it out and you look around the league, you kind of find out that most teams are doing something similar. They're looking for safeties that can do everything, right? Yep. And they want these players to do everything well, right? It's part of the reason why a lot of the safety salaries have gone way down, because guys like Justin Simmons, they get to a certain age where they can't do everything, and now they're not as valuable. Right. They're not worth the big money. But when they're in their prime, heck yeah, they'll get whatever they want, because you're not going to find a lot of guys like that, right? So what teams and part of this is the college level starting to adapt to what the NFL needs, right? There are more safeties now starting to come out, Brian Branch and Antoine Winfield, guys that can do it all. There's more of these guys coming up through the ranks, right? But Mike Edwards and Taylor Rapp are kind of similar in their skill set, right? Obviously, Taylor Rapp is a little bit more of a box safety than Mike Edwards is, but Mike Edwards is a good tackler, right? Both are good tacklers. Both are meh in coverage.
That didn't help me at all.
No,
I thought Mike Edwards was more than meh. Oh, God. Oh, he's done it.
What I'm saying is that interchangeability plays well to the coaches' schemes. Right. It allows the coaches to execute either a plethora of plays or very specific schemes that they employ, right? And if you don't have those kind of players that are interchangeable, it does make it very difficult, because it makes your back end a little bit more predictable than what you would want. So I guess the positive note on this is you have two safeties, even in Mike Edwards and Taylor Rapp, that for all intents and purposes, for the most part, are interchangeable, and that's a good thing.
I'm gonna take you there, and I'm gonna wait till next year to see. Not next year, next week to see what they look like, because man, oh man, you telling me those two are starters? Oh, brother.
Well, I'm just saying they might be.
Well, you're not saying that, but I'm saying that But I saw a depth chart that had Daquan Jones not as a starter. I said, whoa, throw this out. This is bull crap. They had Austin Jackson as a starter next to Ed Oliver. I said, did they forget? Do they know something I don't know? Where's Daquan? I guess he's usurped him already. Daquan, huh?
Usurped who?
Daquan Jones. Austin Jackson they had as a starter at the tackle next to Ed Oliver, and not Daquan. Yeah, I said throw this in the garbage. So toss this out.
Yeah, it's way too early prediction time.
They don't. I mean, that's not what I would do. You know, linebackers you could tinker with. You could tinker with the secondary. That D tackle, that's gospel.
Yeah.
Unless somebody gets hurt, that's gospel.
It has.
We were waiting all year for Daquan to come back. You telling me re-sign the guy to put him on the bench? No.
Unless Daquan is dealing with some kind of minor injury.
That's what I'm saying. If he's hurt, yeah. But if PFF knows that, or no, it was ESPN. I'm sorry. If they know that, then they're a bad man with Jimma, because that was a bull crap take, and I ain't appreciate it at all. So
I'm about to get yelled at by Roy. Roy said, but to be fair, Josh does tend to try to do too much at times instead of living for another play.
I agree, Roy. I agree. I agree. I wasn't gonna push the narrative, but I agree.
Nah, I disagree heavily.
I know you do.
I disagree
I
heavily.
wasn't gonna push that narrative.
Like, conditioning is a thing. Conditioning is a thing. When you have a player that's conditioned to think, if I don't make the play, nobody's going to make it because there is nobody else to make it. Like, Beasley wasn't going to break one for 80 yards. Like, if Stephon Diggs wasn't doing it, it wasn't going to – you know what I'm saying? And he's getting double covered. Like, so if he's double covered and I know Beasley ain't going to break one for 80 yards, listen, I got to make a way. Well, I need 6 yards. I need a first down. I got to make a way.
Yeah, but see, that Beasley will get you that 6 yards. See, that's the thing. You know, I think Roy's point is what you're saying is when we had Kelvin Benjamin, there was absolutely jack crap out there. You were done.
Yeah.
But then when you had these outlets, you know, it was, to Roy's point, it was, do I want to take the 6 or do I want to try to run for 13? And he said, I'm going to run for 13 because it's more exciting. And I think that's what Roy is getting at. Roy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're locked up here. And I do see your point because, you know, coming from an underdog story, Fireball, Wyoming, then the lowly Bills at the time, it was him or nobody, you know. But I think once the dust settled and he really got into it, and he tells you, I don't like playing that because it's boring. I don't like taking the dump off even if it's going to get me a first down because it's boring. I want the big play. Mm-hmm. That's the damning part right there when he says, I know I had that. And I would have kept the drive going, but I wanted to do that, you know. So I think there's a healthy middle in there where, like you said, Josh does have to put the world on his shoulders, but sometimes he does it when he doesn't have to.
Right.
I think that's the difference in the thought process for me.
So you're saying Josh Allen is the James Harden of the NFL?
Who? James Harden? Yeah. Just don't grow the beard. Please don't grow the beard.
Listen, if I can't step back and hit that 3 on him, I don't want to do it.
I don't want it. Right. It's like the boys back.
Play defense. Why?
It's like the boys back in Delaware Park. Like you be 4 feet off when they cross for no reason. Like, who you crossing? To go nowhere. You had to get that move off to shoot a brick? Why? I hated that. I hated that era so much. Speaking of which, you mentioned the trigger word there.
Trigger word?
Yeah, trigger word, man.
What's the trigger word?
Say college. This is the week, fellas. This is the week.
Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day, right?
I'm not going to be able to play till Friday. Well, Saturday.
Okay.
But this is the conversation in my household, right?
Uh-huh.
So I've been saying this for like months now. I've been talking about this day.
Yeah.
And T's like, oh, so you want to take Ken to this place on Saturday? I'm going to ask our friends if they want to bring their kids. I said, no, she said, this weekend. I said, what weekend? She said, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Right.
She said, wait, you going to play that all day? I said, all day?
I don't think you understand how this works.
All weekend? All day? Ooh. If I can push it in a 24-hour period, I might come out for
one day is just recruiting for you.
That's recruiting. That's just naming all the players unless they do it. I got to have real names on there. You can't just not. So,
yo, tell me you not about to do this.
No.
You about to go through the whole entire roster and name all the players?
UB's roster? Yes.
Oh, UB's roster. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I might do the MAC conference.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, this is gonna be it. I've watched no clips, no highlights, no videos, no trailers, nothing. I want this to be fresh. Somebody on the radio said he had the same situation with his girlfriend, and he said UB's got the fights on, they got the Thunder of the East. Man, I am jazzed about this.
Wow.
So Friday, if I'm real fidgety, it's not because I'm tired. It's because I'm thinking about what's to come the next day. And I'm not a morning person, but I bet I'll be at this place at 7 o'clock in the morning if I have to get this out of the way so I can get this game going.
I need you to see if you can get UB to play Michigan at any point in time.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see my boy Will Johnson on there.
I'm going to do it.
He is, I think he's the highest rated player in the game, right now.
I'm gonna do it.
96 overall, but he said this year he gonna work his way up to 99.
He's coming out after this year, isn't he?
Huh?
He's coming out after this year, isn't he?
Yeah. If he wants to, yeah, I think he'll be eligible.
Yeah.
I think he's a junior this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's a junior this year.
So he'll be eligible.
Yeah. So I will put that on there, and I hope they have the squiggly lines, and I hope the players forget their routes. Remember that?
No.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I've never played college football games.
No, you played with me once.
That's right. One time. And I sucked at it. I was terrible.
Fam, when you play in the big stadiums, the route, you see the lines and stuff?
Yeah,
it squiggles. Yeah. It moves.
Oh, like how they do in Madden where like each stadium's got its own.
Yeah. And then the players forget their routes.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't wait. The freshman running out when he's supposed to gonna come back and I throw it. Oh, this is gonna be excellent. This is gonna be.
Yeah.
When T said,
I'm happy for you, bro.
when she said the whole day, I said, "Wait, you said day? Day?" She said, we can take Ken to Grandma Day." I'm like, and then what? What happens after that? I cooked on the grill yesterday. I made sure I had food ready for the week. So I didn't worry about it. I got sat on the couch, make sure I got my angles correct. I know where I'm gonna be sitting at. I know my controller. I got a second controller. I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Listen. I've not seen this kind of joy on your face in a very long time. So
I got glee.
Yeah. So
I got the joy down in my heart.
I would say since Kim was born.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. Yep. And before that, it was college
Kim being
football.
born, and then there's CFB 25.
You got it. And then, and before that, it was CFB 14, which is the last one they made.
Yeah. Wow.
I was
11
30.
years, man.
Yeah.
11
29 years old.
Well, like, what? How did you count? Did you just play 14 for the next 3 years or something like that?
No, I was just hoping they were going to bring it back. I was forced to play Madden. But
I'm forced to play. No wonder you got so heavily into Madden.
Yo, you know that Madden is still like $42 used? The 24?
Why?
I don't know. I went to GameStop.
Give it a couple of weeks. It'll be like $13.
I'm gonna wait. I was like, yo, I just want this one with Josh on the front. I'm not gonna play it.
Yep.
I just need this cover. $42. I don't need it that bad. I put it back.
You can put this back, sir. I'm not gonna do
Throw this back on the shelf. I'm not paying for that. Not yet.
All right. Well.
Oh yeah. Before on more somber news, Jacoby Jones, obviously.
Yeah.
40 years old, passed away on Saturday. A press conference by way of the Baltimore Ravens say he died peacefully at home. So I don't know if he was sick or what the case was, but 40 years old. Obviously you know about the Chopper City Juke and was it a D-Town Shuffle he used to do when he scored and the Mike Tomlin incident, Tomlin Gate.
Tomlin Gate?
Yeah, Ramos tripped him. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, right. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, he looked a little off when he did the draft. It was a couple of years ago, but I didn't know he was sick. He was on Dancing with the Stars as well. So yeah, he was actually.
What did he have? Did they say?
I don't know. I don't even know if it was just a speculation he was even sick. But when you tell me he passed away, he's peacefully at home or was surrounded by his family, that tells me you knew something was going down.
Yeah, he's going through something.
Yeah,
for sure. Man,
that's tough.
Yeah. I mean, anybody going ahead of their time. I mean, it would be nice if America was one of those blue zones where we had a bunch of what's the term for it? Centenarians.
Oh yeah, centenarians.
Yeah. That would be dope. The hard part is that we have all the money and the opportunity to do it. We just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no incentive outside of actually living longer to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Sit around and be angry longer.
Right.
Ken asked me. He said, "So, Dad, when you hit 100, that's sad." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Cause that's it for you." I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Cause after that, what happens? You just drop, right?" I'm like, "What? 101 doesn't happen." I'm like, "There's people that live to 101."
You didn't tell him what actually happens?
What?
Wait, does he watch the show?
Yes.
I'm gonna say it anyway.
He knows.
So, Ken, when you watch the show, if you're not aware of this, when fathers turn 100, they have a choice. They can either pass away, or they can eat their firstborn son and live forever. So,
I am getting nice on that grill.
You
I am
may
getting nice on that grill.
you may wanna, you know what I'm saying? You may wanna just be nice because it could be you, man.
Could
just
be.
saying.
And I mean, lastly, I'd be remiss. 7:15. Happy birthday, Dad. Don't eat me when you're 100, please.
Very nice. That
was beautiful. Anyway, so
I went a little crazy with the thumbnail, but I wanted to make sure that it said everything it needed to say. Right?
I didn't even see. I'm looking at it over there, and I'm like,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. So Laura came and slipped this topic on my desk, and as I began to read through it and analyze it, I felt that it was a very, very strong conversation to be had, and the conversation is the impact of these 1-year deals and what they're doing to the salary cap, and what has caused these a lot of these 1-year deals to kind of blow up the way that they have been recently, to begin with, right? So I went back and I looked at the list of salary cap from smallest to biggest, right? So I have 8 teams on the thumbnail. All 8 of those teams are the bottom 8 in terms of salary cap space in the entire NFL,
Yep.
right? What's interesting about these bottom 8 is the Bills and the Ravens are the only teams, if I'm not mistaken, who did Tampa make the playoffs last year? Yes, they did, actually. So Tampa made the playoffs last year. Seattle, did they make it the year before? I don't think they made it last year. Did Seattle make it last
If they
year?
didn't make it, they were close the year before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were close but didn't make it, but they made it the year before. That was Geno Smith's first year, because last year was Geno Smith's second year. Yeah, I don't think they made it last year. So
no, they didn't make it last year, yeah.
right, so of these bottom 8 teams, only 3 of them made the playoffs, right? And on these playoff teams, there's only one technically that did the things that that they did in terms of, I'll say, making themselves less talented in a sense, and it's the Bills. Okay. It's the Bills, right? The Ravens did everything they could to try and prepare themselves for a deep run, and they got to the AFC Championship game. The Buccaneers were not supposed to be there,
Right.
but Baker Mayfield played his butt off. He even played hurt and willed that team to the playoffs. So they weren't even really supposed to be there. So the only 2 teams that I really should be talking about are the Ravens and the Bills, right? Now, when you look at the Ravens situation, I don't think a lot of let's go look at it, because I want to make sure that I'm being accurate when I say this. But I don't think the Ravens have a lot of dead cap. I think a lot of the reason you going on it now. Okay, so
Ravens dead cap?
yeah, I think a lot of the reason for their salary cap
14
situation.
million. They're 26 in dead cap. 26 out of 30. 14 million.
So that's nothing.
That's really good.
So the reason that they have no space is they're paying a lot of guys, right? They got Roquan Smith at linebacker, and they also have Patrick Queen didn't
Mark
Patrick Queen
Andrews,
leave this
16
season?
Patrick Queen, this
Yeah,
year.
he left this season, but last season they had him on that team. So, and forgive me, I'm sorry. These salary cap numbers are from 2023, right? Because I wanted to go back to when everybody was, what was I looking at? I was looking at team builds from previous years. That way, the conversation of, man, I just lost my train of thought. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to here. I want to know what this message Laura just retracted was.
Or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I don't. So when I was looking at these teams, and I saw that the Bills and the Ravens were the only ones that were at the bottom there, and then I looked at the Ravens situation and I looked at the Bills situation. I say, well, these are 2 very different team builds.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, if you look at total cap space, of course, the Bills are 26 and the Ravens look like they're in worse cap space with 20 at the 28th spot.
Yeah.
But you got to look at who's on the payroll. You look at your quarterback he has weapons around him. You got Derrick Henry. He just got Roquan Smith. You got Mark Andrews, Ronnie Staley. You got defensive players like Marlon Humphreys and Marcus Williams. They're all around out your top 7 or so, just in Madubuike. So you have elite talent at these positions that we're talking about, and they're eating up the salary cap.
So check this out. Of the top, top 8. Yeah. Of the top 8 players on the team in terms of pay, like the players that make the most on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 1, 2. 2 of them are on the offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them are on defense,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Patrick McCarry, their guard, Ronnie Staley, their left tackle, 2 of the highest paid, 2 of the top 8 paid players on the team, right? Where's the rest of their offensive line? Lindenbaum is down there at 17.
17. Let's see. You got 24th.
Ben Cleveland. There you go.
25th.
That's their other guard. So their offensive line is within the top 25 in terms of salary amount on their entire team.
Yep.
You want to talk about a team that's built to make the quarterback's job easy? Let's look at the Buffalo Bills. Can you pull up the Buffalo Bills the same numbers?
Yep.
I want to see where their offensive line is in terms of pay on the team. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Deion Dawkins and then everybody else way at the bottom there.
Connor McGovern 10th. Spencer Brown 14th.
Deion is 4th overall. David Edwards is
21st.
21.
And then obviously Osiris Torrance is like 33rd.
Okay.
So McGovern was a guard who's now a center.
Right.
But then you're giving guys like David Edwards top 21 money, who how many times was he a full-time starter? He's not.
I think he's only been a full-time starter 1 year.
Right. So I mean, what else do you notice here though? This is the most point. This is kind of my point when you were asking me to look at this. Josh Allen's number 1, Von Miller number 2, Matt Milano number 3, Ed Oliver 5, Taron Johnson 6, Daquan Jones 8, Epinesa 11, Kyer Elam 12,
Yep.
Rousseau 13, Rasul Douglas 16, Taylor Rapp 18, Mike Edwards 19. So I can
It is heavily lopsided towards the defense.
All defense. So who's Josh Allen throwing the ball to?
Right.
Who's blocking for Josh? I'm sorry, James Cook, but who's running for Josh?
Was Mark Andrews on the Ravens top 20? Yeah, I thought I saw his name there. So
And Rashad Bateman was 15th.
Huh?
Rashad Bateman was 15th. So,
Yeah.
who to your point about when we're talking about putting things on Josh's shoulders, who's he playing with? Who's blocking for him? Deion Dawkins is Mr. I'm not the best guy.
Right.
Okay, you're the best, and then who's next?
Right.
Because there's nobody else on this line. Osiris Torrance, maybe. I guess. I don't know. It's the second year.
There's a book that I read that says wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart is. Right? This is a clear picture of a head coach who wants to win a certain way. And that's what he's invested in monetarily. Right? He's invested in the way that he wants to play games, the way that he wants to win games, and what he feels is most important. Mm-hmm. Right? This is what it is. But let's get back to the comparisons, right? Or not the comparisons, the salary cap, right? So I wanted to show the bottom 8 teams in terms of salary cap situation, just to kind of show most of the time, if you don't have a lot of salary cap space, you're not a great team, right? Now, if that means we should give the Bills credit for where they are, that's up to you, right? But I like Roy's point. He says Bean cleaned up the salary situation when he got here and has now put the team right back where it was. Got to be more proactive with that going forward. That's a part of this conversation.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that point because you got to look at what happened. When Bean came in, when McDermott came in, they had nothing to lose.
Right.
They could tear the team down and still get 2-3 years to do what they wanted to do.
Yep.
Now we're at the end of a 6-year window, 8-year window now that we've seen one conference championship appearance. We've seen a bunch of early exits from a team that's underachieving every year. He's putting them back in that hole because he's seeing that I don't have that much time left. I gotta do this thing now. So I gotta go get Von Millers. I gotta go overpay for David Edwards. I gotta keep Mike Edwards and these guys that really shouldn't get this money, but I gotta have them because this is what I need now. I'm in a corner. I didn't draft Will because I wanted to pay everybody.
Yep.
That was evident by the article I brought up on Friday when I said they suggested we should go to Jerick McKinnon. You just drafted Ray Davis. How much does McKinnon cost? More than we want to spend, regardless.
Exactly.
So I mean, like Roy
for
said,
a position that in this offense is just irrelevant anyway.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, James Cook went for 1,100. That was great, but Josh would have just thrown more if he had to. He would have got the 1,100 somewhere else.
Yeah. So, in looking at this kind of mess that the NFL is in right now, and 1-year contracts and how those have kind of blown up, would we be able to look up how many 1-year contracts were signed this year? And let's just do this year and last year
For the Bills?
for everybody. Is there a way to find that?
No, I have to go through it.
Okay.
Team by team. But I can tell you the Bills had 24 this year. They got
24 1-year contracts? Mm-hmm. How many did they have last year?
Let me take a look. You want to stall them out?
Yeah, so I'll just play you some music.
Right.
So it's there's a few reasons why we're at the point now where 1-year contracts are a big thing. But I just want to see exactly what the progression has become to this point with 1-year contracts. And we may, it'll be, so once you look this up, it definitely looks like less. Is it less?
Nah, it's about the same.
About the same?
About the same.
All right, so now let's go back to. Let's see. What do I want to put money on? I would be willing to put money on. This is 2024. Mm-hmm. I'd be willing to put money on. When did Mahomes get paid?
The year before Josh, wasn't it? So what was that? That was
2020? COVID year?
Let's take a look. I know he got a 10-year contract.
Yeah. I'm willing to put money on it that before the Patrick Mahomes contract hit, teams weren't doing as many of the 1-year contracts as what they do now. And I think that has a lot to do with it.
20, let's see.
Well, it goes into effect. See, that's tough.
Hold on. Here we go. Let's see.
So
he got his contract in 2020.
Right, 2020. So let's go back and look at how many 1-year contracts the Bills had back in 2020. So I really do think, yeah. Laura said, damn, my heart is in Nikes then.
Her heart's what?
Her heart is in Nikes then. That's where she invests her money at.
Let's see. Okay, so we'll go through this by heart. Because I did the numbers before we did the show.
Okay.
2020.
Just trying to see where the 1-year contracts are.
So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18.
18?
18.
Trent Murphy.
But we didn't have cap space then either.
Where was our cap space? Oh, $2 million, that's all we had?
Yep.
Holy cow. Who was getting paid?
Diggs for Davis.
Oh, that's when we got Diggs. That's right.
Mario Addison, Trent Murphy got the 1-year $9.7 million deal. So, Roy, let's park on that one for a minute. Trent Murphy was the first Von Miller with 1-year $9.9 million.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
For what? It gets better. John Brown, 9.5. Jerry Hughes, 9.5. Deion Dawkins, 8.1. Jordan, well, let's see. Vernon Butler got 7.3. You remember Vernon Butler playing? Exactly. Quentin Jefferson got $7 million. They were just hemorrhaging money. A.J. Klein got $6 million. Josh Allen was at 5.8, and that's why, because they don't know how to deal with a big contract like that. Look at all the money they threw at these guys for no reason. I bet you I could go through this. I don't want to right now. I'm not going to paint myself in the corner and look at how much dead cap from these guys are still on the books right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would have lost money on this bet, but I do think that quarterback salaries have been, and we can some other time we can go back and find the actual origin of this with quarterback contracts, but I do think quarterback contracts were the linchpin in this kind of wave of 1-year contracts. The growth that we've seen, even, and this is the crazy part, we're getting back to that point again, right? First, it was the rookies coming out making $60 million, a season or whatever, on the rookie deals. But then we got to, okay, we're gonna cap all that, right? And what did that do? Well, that lowered the salary cap number for quarterbacks in general, right? And all the guys that were getting the big bucks, nobody was paying them that anymore. They kind of just got phased out of the league. They weren't that great anyway. Right. Very few of those guys were great enough to demand the same money that they got in their rookie contract anyway. So once we got to this point where quarterbacks were getting paid, $18, $19, $20 million, it was like, okay, now you could kind of see more complete teams getting built and other positions being able to get paid and stuff like that. And they did. They did. For a while, running backs were getting paid really good money until Le'Veon Bell, right? And I think he was only looking for $10 million at the time, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there was another running back that was making double digits, before him.
Yep. Oh snap! He wants a double-digit contract.
Right.
He's gonna break the bank. Yeah. Okay. What did Saquon just get?
Exactly. So then after running back, then it became wide receiver, right? And it became wide receiver because that's around the time when the rules changed and the passing game opened up. The game got a little bit more sexy and more points were being scored. The rule changes on defense. You can't what is it called? Targeting or something like that, where you can't torpedo a guy. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like
Polamalu somebody, yeah.
Right. You can't no horse collar tackles. You know what I mean? All these different rules to stop offensive players from getting injured and all these things, right? So what did that do? That put more of an importance on your quarterback, your wide receivers, your left tackles for sure, right? So those three positions started to get paid more because they mattered more. The NFL wanted to see them be more successful.
Right.
So as you see those salaries increase, obviously if they got to get more money, other positions are getting less. That's part of the reason we ended up with safeties where they are right now, where safeties are basically making running back salaries. You know what I'm saying? And expected to do all of the same stuff that running back. Like running backs have so many jobs now, it's not even funny. You gotta block, you gotta catch, you gotta run right. You got so much stuff they have to do now just to make a good buck. And safeties are in the same position now. You got to be diverse. You got to be able to do everything, and you have to be able to do it well in order to get paid in the NFL. So past all that, it wasn't just the offense that became important. It was the players who cover those guys on defense. Yep. Your pass rushers were kind of always making money, but they became even more important now, right? But it wasn't just your edge rushers, right? Because Spags made defensive tackles money for the rest of their lives with the way that he won those Super Bowls, right? Putting Justin Tuck and I think who else? Justin Tuck. I think Jason Pierre-Paul would come in. No, it wasn't them. Who was the guy that they moved to linebacker? There was one point where they had Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, and
Umenyiora.
Huh? Umenyiora. That's right. OC Umenyiora. And they would run this turbo package where they had like 3 defensive linemen. One of them was switched to the 3 technique spot, and they would just rush the passer. Yep. And so. Like I said, it wasn't just edge rushers. It was defensive tackles starting to make money because Spags kind of brought out, hey, if you can get pressure up the middle, if you can get past these guards, quarterbacks that were statues like a Peyton Manning, like a Tom Brady that didn't want to move, you could make them uncomfortable that way because there was really no other way to do it, right? So they start getting paid more, right? Not just them, but now corners. Because at the time, there's a lot more man coverage.
Right.
Players were getting faster. You need there were more route combinations being added in. So the zone schemes at the time weren't as how can I say, they weren't as what's the word I'm looking for? They weren't as intricate. They weren't as intricate because like even with like cover 4 coverage, right? Those type of zones, you know, geez, my English. Depending on how the defensive coordinator wants to run that scheme, there's your generic basic zone coverage, and then there's like a zone man hybrid that teams can do where if a player comes into your zone, that's who you're following based on what the offense dictates, you know, you do. You know what I'm saying? So if I got a tight end running into my zone, but I know the ball was just snapped, right? And I know my safety has got deep coverage over my left shoulder. Let's say I'm playing linebacker, right? And I know my safety's got the deep coverage, right? Corner is depending on what that would be the Y receiver, the number 2 receiver. Based on that Y receiver's route, I either have to slide over and take that short route, or if that guy's running a longer route as this tight end is coming towards me, I have to continue to drop because I know the corner is going to continue to drop and cover that deeper route, right? So it based on that scenario, I have to decide, okay, well, if that corner is continuing to drop because that receiver's running deep, the tight end's my guy. I'm following him while we're in this zone. And everybody's kind of doing that and passing the player off to the next zone, right? So that's that kind of zone man hybrid scheme that teams run. And you can do that in cover 3. You can do that in cover 2. You know what I mean? But cover 2 is more designed for like 3-step drop stuff, right. You know, like the quick passing game. But anyway, corners are starting to get paid more, right? At that time, safety salaries were booming. Budda Baker was getting paid money. That's when Justin Simmons got paid. Minka Fitzpatrick got paid. A lot of these players were getting paid because that's before the league settled on you have to be able to do everything great. At the time, if you could cover a little bit of man coverage, but you were a great deep safety, you made the bucks because you were getting picks at the time.
Right.
But once offenses started getting more diverse, safety started having to do more things, and they stopped making as much money. But all of those players, and you really, the only people that lost money in that whole entire situation were middle linebackers.
What's the middle linebacker? What's that? Right. What is it, Brandon Spike? What is Bill Romanowski? What is Ray Lewis these days?
Exactly.
Lost.
Exactly. So running backs and linebackers were the only ones that really lost a lot of money once the transition to the passing game happened because their roles were less significant in a sense. You know what I mean? And so with all of these pressure points being applied now due to the importance of the pass game, now all these players are starting to get paid, right? And obviously quarterback is the most important position on the field. As that increases, everything else is, well, quarterback salaries, I think, kind of ballooned a little bit faster, but.
Yeah, they hit a boom, yeah.
You know what I mean? Quarterbacks and wide receiver salaries, both of those boomed, like, really fast.
Now, quarterback, wasn't Kirk Cousins pretty much the catalyst for that when he got that fully guaranteed contract?
Yes. Who else got paid that year?
But when they saw fully guaranteed, they said, well, he's getting how much? 80-something million, was it 80, whatever it was, million, for 4 years or 5 years, fully guaranteed without any kind of slack. Well, I want that. The next thing you know, now you got a guy who's got to reset the market, who's got incentives, who's, 120 million or whatever that is over 4 years, and now it just balloons out of control. But I remember distinctly everybody wanting that Kirk Cousins contract. And I think for a year or two, that's what they called it, the Kirk Cousins contract, fully guaranteed, boy. And, Shannon Sharps and people like that. Oh, so go ahead.
His contract, oh, no, it's only $100 million guaranteed with the Falcons, right?
I don't know what it is. Yeah, I can look that up. But while you were doing it, I was kind of looking at the rankings of the Bills' positions where they where they sit in 2024, man, I'm telling you, it's egregious. Why is our defensive line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th highest paid defensive line?
Oh, it was $84 million at
84 million fully guaranteed. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. So after that, they were like,
right.
I want that. I want fully guaranteed money.
Yeah, but the owners was like, hell no, you don't.
Right. They're like, you know what? This is what we'll do. We'll give you a fully balloon contract. We'll give you the 84 million, but you can possibly make this.
Right.
You know, Josh Allen, you can possibly make this.
Yep.
And I'm looking, you know, defensive line, Cincinnati, Washington, Vegas, Indy, Seattle, then us in terms of defensive line pay. Now, I was cross-referencing that by my good old advanced defense. The Bills are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the league in pressures. You know, they got the sacks. Now, the sacks we've already discussed. The sacks were not caused by the defensive line.
Right.
The sacks were caused by the secondary linebackers, dumb quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks, just trash. So, and my mom said stop calling them trash. I'm not doing that. They're still trash.
They're still trash.
Trash, not the Bills. Everybody else.
Yeah. You know what? My pop used to say, you can't, they're in the NFL. You can't call, and you know what I said? Relative. What I would say? In comparison to their peers.
Right. Relative. Trash. Trash.
Yeah.
It's not what you knew, it's who you. No, I'm joking. I won't go that far. But yeah, so I mean, we dumped all this money into the defensive line, as we've talked about already. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. But it just frustrates me that we have no production there. We have no production in the secondary. But guess who's making all the money? Now, wide receiver, yeah, our cap hit for 2024 is going to be kind of egregious because of Stephon Diggs. But, you know, if you look at
even on that list?
Well, he's got dead cap. So that's why wide receiver cap hit is going to be higher than it should be, 31 mil to him.
Gotcha.
But you're talking about the secondary is way down here.
There it is right there, 33.
Right here.
Yep.
Secondary, 32 million. And they caused the sacks. They got, I think they were what? They were interception-wise. I had it a second ago. I wasn't zoned off completely, but kind of. Let's see. Interceptions, we were
right there?
surprisingly number 5.
Yeah.
Tied for third in interceptions last year. I didn't even believe it when I saw it. But the point is,
5-way tie.
Yeah.
Jeez.
With 18 interceptions on it. Well, thanks, Russell Douglas, or else we'd be down here some freaking way.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, the thing is, like Roy said, like I said, like you're alluding to, these one-year contracts, they have a lot of shine for all parties involved, the fans, the owners, and the players. But if you're looking at it in terms of how the Bills are doing it, they kind of back themselves into the corner with these bad contracts.
Right.
Now, they're doubling down because, no, it's not one-year contracts. Because guess what? Leonard Floyd was not a one-year contract. He was a 1 year with 2 void years. So guess what? If you go ahead and pull a spot track, go ahead. I'll wait. No, I won't, because I only got 25 more minutes to go. But if you pull a spot track, you'll see Leonard Floyd on a dead cap.
Yeah.
If you pull up a couple other guys, you'll see them. Matter of fact, let me humor myself, and we'll go through this here.
Do it.
We'll go through this here because I am very curious about our cap hits. Leonard Floyd, $4 million this year. Let's see. Deontay Hardy, 1.6 mil. Tim Settle, they redid his contract, 1.3 mil. Saran Neal, they redid his contract, $500,000. Carlos Basham, $362,000. Let's see, and it gets smaller from there. But listen to the names I said. Why?
Right.
Why are we even in that position to have this kind of dead cap? Stephon Diggs, that was egregious too because it didn't happen overnight. Your coach didn't have problems with him the next day after they just went out drinking and having a great time. Yep. They knew there was a rift. They knew something was going on. They knew. The media alluded to it. But What do? Let's extend them for 6 more years. And then you find out, oh, snap, we got to pay Josh. I forgot about that guy. Steph, we need to restructure you. I can't say no, can't say yes. It's the same money. Cool. And then after a restructuring, what happens? We don't like you no more, so you got to go away. Right. So that money that we restructured doesn't go away. It stays here. And what people don't understand is the 1 year contracts, when Bean alluded to it this year in a presser when asked about how they're going to manage the cap, he said, well, you're going to see a lot of 1 year contracts this year.
Well, they've kind of been doing that every year.
They've been doing that every year.
Right.
But, there's not I think what he was really saying was there's not going to be that big splash that goes along with them. Now, this is my problem with the 1-year contracts when it comes to.
Yes, he does, Roy.
What's that?
Go ahead. He just asked if Von is gone after this season, doesn't he have 3 years of dead cap too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's almost up there with Steph Diggs next year in dead cap.
Yep.
Where was I? Oh. So if you look at it as a player side, it allows a player to try out for a team. It allows them to get in and get out. Obviously, if they like the situation, we can renegotiate. If I don't, no harm, no foul. I'm out of there. I'm not coming back. Don't ask me to eat no more buffalo wings with blue cheese. I like ranch better anyway. Okay. Not me, but that's what they'll say. Because I'm so tired of, this ranch in Buffalo is really good. No, it's not. It is different. But just because it's in Buffalo, because people are like, they're like, say it. You're right. This actually has a 20. It's got chunks in it. It's nice and I like this.
Nice and moldy.
Right. It's nice and moldy. Like just how I like it. Just eat it plain.
Right.
Let's see. So it allows players to bet on themselves and go for a bigger payday in the next season. Because what happens now is you're seeing guys who miss out on that big contract. They, for whatever reason, something happened where they got hurt or where their numbers didn't jive or they need that chance where. I need a 1-year prove-it deal. I need to get in somewhere where I know I can play and get out. And I'm going to go sign me a multi-year deal next year.
Right. But how often does that work out, though?
Well, for the players,
not often.
I don't know how many guys actually do it. Well,
that's the other part, too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Not a lot of players
that are in that market actually do it. Like if Chase Claypool, somebody like that has a checkered past.
Yeah, they'll do it.
They do it.
Yeah, but
you're not getting jetted for that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, so like Tyron Smith has the biggest 1-year deal in the NFL right now. His contract is worth up to $20 million for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right. It's $6 million base.
Right.
With incentives.
Yeah.
And I think all of that has to do with his health.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He was by far regarded as one of the best, if not the best, left tackle when he was in his prime and playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
What did Deion say about this? What did Deion have to say about this?
Deion can kick rocks, okay? I'm not going to say what I wanted to say. But when you look at those kind of contracts, like those are the players we're talking about where major injury history. Aaron Jones, major injury history. Odell Beckham, major injury history. Mm-hmm. Hollywood Brown is a little bit different in the sense that he hasn't really been
he's the bet on myself kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's the bet on myself
guy. He hasn't had a ton of injuries,
right,
but he also hasn't had the best of opportunities as far as the quarterbacks he's played with. He played with Kyler Murray when Kyler Murray got hurt, and he played with Lamar Jackson when that offense didn't want to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I truly think that is a culture pick. It's just we want a guy who's won something before and can come in and impart to the young guys and just be a presence.
That's the other component. Marquez Valdes-Scantlings, what's the guy? Linval Josephs, even Leonard Floyd, who like that. He came in, I'm going to bet on myself and make this money and go. And he did. Yeah. But, Marquez, there wasn't a huge market for him. I don't care what he says. There wasn't a huge market for that guy, especially not for the role that he wants to play.
And not with his history. I think the book is out on a guy that was supposed to be way better with his measurables and his traits. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When your hands are not great, everybody knows.
Right.
And one of the things that people talk about with Mahomes last year, it really wasn't a great year for that offense at all. And a lot of it has to do with his receivers not being able to catch the ball, regardless of what they did in the playoff. Like that, there's something that goes with being the only guy that can be that can get the job done on the team, right? And with where the Chiefs were, it was Kelsey, and if Kelsey couldn't do it, we had to hope and pray that MVS could do it,
right? Because
they didn't have anybody else, right? So. It's not even like we can give this man credit for he's great in the playoffs. He had to be. They didn't have anybody else. Like if you get targeted that much, it's the conversation with CeeDee Lamb. Like You give me 180 targets, yeah, you're going to get 1,000 yards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
so
I think I made that face because Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the playoffs is like 24 catches, 406 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hooray. Hooray. Mr. Clutch in the playoffs. Now, that's what everybody says. He's Mr. Clutch. Hooray. He's got a 56% catch success rate, 36.9 yards per game. Yeah, yep. And to answer your question from earlier, if you want to add in, the undrafted free agents, it's 190 one-year contracts in the league.
This year. My goodness. My goodness.
But see, yeah, like you said, this is a team. The team side is this. I want Keon Coleman to come along slowly. He's not giving me what I need him right now. He's not giving me that wild factor. He's not that all-star at the gate. Fine. I got Mac Hollins because Samuel he's 3 years. So Mac Hollins and Valdez-Scantling have at it. Claypool have at it while we work on him. We can get out from under you guys and get him when he's ready. That's when you do. But see, the Bills don't do that. The Bills go ahead and say, you know what? They didn't say it yet, but Claypool, 1 year, $4 million. We can make something with this dude. We gonna find a diamond in the rough, and he's gonna be our starter. But they never use the draft. They never had that safety net. They let him be the shield in front. It's like you're shielding him, but you never let him get his bumps and bruises. You never let him get the bullets don't fly with the rookies.
Yep.
So Singletary, it wasn't a 1 year deal, but James Cook. I told people when Singletary was starting, why are we waiting for this bum to go somewhere? Because this is the dude that's better than him. And as soon, I remember I was sitting next to Melly Mack, whatever. I don't even know what we really call him on the show anymore. But when we sit next to Mel, we were in the stadium 2 years ago. Singletary's last year here, and it was to the point where in the area we sat in, people started shaking me every time James Cook made a play because that's your boy. You told it. You said it. That's him. But then Singletary, here comes Single Yard again. Yeah, Single Yard. That's what I call him. Here he comes again. Why? Your man just showed you something. He on the sideline. But that's their MO.
Yeah.
That's their MO. Leonard Floyd. Who was he? Who was he supposed to be playing to get somebody ready? Now, I can see we had Javon Solomon last year with Leonard Floyd. I could see that. But Leonard Floyd was a stopgap. And when he left, because he said, I'm chasing the money. And I respect him because he made no bones about it. I'm not staying here. I'm chasing the money. What was the point of that? You're back where you started.
Laura says, is it even in a team's best interest to sign multi-year deals? We got screwed on Von.
It is.
She says, maybe. Please be good again this year.
No, it is. I mean, don't let Von jade you. And the reason why I say that because I know what I said a couple of shows ago about Von getting unjust criticism is you don't give a 32-year-old man who already had major injuries $120 million over 6 years. Yeah. You're paying this. You're committed to this guy till he's 38 years old. Mm-hmm. Lindsay's, I think she's about our age, 39 or 38, whatever. He's your age.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say me because I'm 40. I know. You don't give. That doesn't take. This is not rocket science. The only reason they got Vine in the building was by giving him this money. Nobody else would. He came here. He said, I came to Buffalo on the plane to tell him thanks, but no thanks. How do you think he stayed? I don't want to hear. I saw the culture. Wasn't no fans in the stadium when you got there. I don't want to hear. I landed. It just felt different. No. You're Von Miller. You can go wherever the hell you want. But no other team opened the briefcase and said, here's this $100 million. Just sign right here. Nobody else did. I challenged somebody to tell me that their organization offered them that kind of money. I challenged somebody. You can't.
You know, I think the 1 year contracts. I'm almost willing to say that this is the second piece of the linchpin, because I do think it was for sure the growth of the quarterback salaries and the kind of shifting to the offensive style that the league has gone through. But tell me what you think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when all of the younger players on the team were those in development guys, and the teams would keep those dudes around for 3 or 4 years, and then maybe 2-3 3 out of the 13 guys that you had would pop.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be your average to above average starters. You know what I'm saying? If they were guys that, took that long. And then you would have the occasional guy that came out of nowhere like a James Harrison and just be great. You know what I'm saying? But my point in saying that is I think there is something to be said about the collective bargaining agreement and what that's done to player development, right? Coaches and teams can't work players out the way they used to. There are no more two-a-days. The preseason is basically a joke now, now that it's only 3 weeks. This is another thing that I'm seeing as more of a trend too, is a lot more teams now are starting to do these joint practices, right?
We're doing, right?
Yeah. We're going. I think we're going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So we're going to play Pittsburgh, or not play them, but you know what I mean. We're going to practice against them. Same difference. But I think there's something to be said for these teams and these coaches not having the opportunity to develop players the way they used to. Back in the day, you could have a guy on your team for 5 years, and because you were doing two-a-days, he was getting plenty of work on the back end. He was getting there were plenty of reps for him because you weren't going to run your starters through every single drill two-a-days the entire time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it gave you much more opportunity to, hey, go give my guy a breather for, 10 reps. Whatever the number is. You know what I'm saying? But at that point, especially when I was playing Madden, like one of the things I used to do a lot of is the guys I knew I had in development, 7-year deal. And I know that's kind of like above and beyond. Nobody's doing that. But you could draft a corner in the 7th round and have him under contract for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Or I'm sorry, no, 4 is under the collective bargaining. But you could have him under contract for 4 years, right? And in that period of time, by the time you hit year 4, you would have at least an average special teamer or an average corner that you could give another smaller contract to and keep him on your team. Mm-hmm. But we're not doing that now because guys don't get developed. You're either coming in the league and you're developing in 1 year, or I'm sorry, you're still under contract, but you're kind of labeled as practice squad guy. Mm-hmm. And then you sit on the practice squad for as long as you're willing to stay on a practice squad, or until another team thinks they can use you better than how you're being used in Buffalo, right? But again, I think really the point is player development is not the same as it was. No. Players don't get invested in on the back end as much as they used to, and there is no pipeline for teams anymore. So they compensate by bringing a bunch of kind of, I don't want to say has-beens, but they bring older guys who have some history and some bumps and bruises and stuff like that, and they give them a 1-year deal to see if maybe they still got something left in the tank. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I agree with that thought process, but I think these coaches think that there's more value in the experience an older guy has to, A, impart to the younger guys they have on the team and kind of be a coach on the field, and B, if they do still have a little something left and you can get, 100 reps out of them, then, hey, why not try it?
Well, yeah. I mean, there are caveats, but the problem with the Bills is they lean on it. And I'm glad you mentioned the development, because that was actually the segue that I was talking about off of your point. Okay. Practice squads. I was listening to, I believe it was Sal and Matt Bove, their show. I don't even know when it was from, maybe Friday or whatever. And they were talking about, we have this group of 13 wide receivers, whatever it is. We got, Claypool and Hamler and Hamler and Shorter and Brian Thompson and I'm like, and Shavers, and I'm like, okay. They're like, so if we keep 5, can we get away with having two tight ends because we can get this, and could we get Reggie Gilliam as a tight end if we need him? And I'm like, why are we doing this? And then Sal said it, roster gymnastics. I said, why are we doing roster gymnastics? He's talking about, well, if you get rid of Isabella, you probably can get him, Shavers, or Thompson back on your practice squad. I'm like, why do I care if they don't pass? If they're not my top 5 or 6, I'll try to get them back. But if I can't, they weren't part of my future plans.
Right.
So I don't care if you make it or not. I mean, I'm gonna post somebody else's team from my practice squad. The overarching point to this I was gonna make is why is it? And I'm curious how many other teams, I didn't look it up. How many other teams put this much thought into who's gonna make their practice squad? How many other teams are like, you know what? I can't cut this dude because we can't get him back. He's gonna get poached by some. Let him go.
But the crazy part is their practice squad doesn't shift a lot. There isn't,
and that's the thing.
it's a lot of the same dudes.
Exactly. They're not going to make the roster.
Right.
We know this already. We knew this last year. We knew this the year before that. Why are we doing roster gymnastics to keep them around? You didn't think enough of them to put them on the 53. Find somebody else that might be good enough to be.
It's consistency. Culture on the practice squad too.
What's that?
I said there must be culture on the practice squad too.
Consistency. What do they call it? Chemistry, consistency, and I'm like, but the culture isn't winning. I need to find a way to get this culture to win.
Yeah.
And if I don't know, I'm trying to go to the car thing. I can't, so screw it. If this part doesn't fit, I'm not gonna keep trying to jam this part into this receptacle. It don't fit. In the garbage, taking it back.
50 Cent likes to think he's gonna make it fit.
He don't make it fit. 50 Cent. But yeah, no, it's
wow.
He out.
No, yeah.
His fingers on autopilot. But no, I mean, I sat and I'm struggling with, like, why are we having? And they talked about 15 minutes. Like, why are we having this conversation? Chase Claypool is good enough to be on the top 5. He's good enough to be a top 6.
Yep.
KJ Hamler. Oh, maybe if we can get what's his name? Hardy, the cornerback. If he's a full-time return, man, we don't need this guy. What about Xavier Johnson? Who cares? I'm putting the best 53 I got out there on this team. And whoever let the chips forward, you might hate my guts. What if Savers don't want to come back anymore?
Right.
Be free. You're not going to play for us anyway. You're not developing any. Who's he helping? Kyer Elam?
Yeah.
No. He's what? Kenai Lovely? No.
Yeah.
So why do we care who? And if you're going to do this, what is a practice squad? Practice squad is they're like, they learn how the other team plays, and they. So my notes say, why is there so much loyalty? That's my first question. Obviously, we talked about that. And then my thoughts. What else could you do with a practice squad? It could be a developmental team or league. Mm-hmm. Why don't you have a 7-on-7 even? I mean, you don't have to have offensive line, defensive line. Have a 7-on-7 league where your wide receiver are running routes against pro level-ish cornerbacks, safeties, quarterbacks getting looks, because it might be next man up.
Right.
He ain't learning nothing by emulating another team's offense or emulating another team's defense.
And that's most of what they do on the practice squad
That's
now.
it.
Is they just got a bunch of guys that can emulate other players and
yeah, because I don't know, you guys probably do know. You guys are staunch Bills fans, but did you know that when we had to play Baltimore, Isaiah McKenzie was playing as Lamar Jackson?
Yep.
I mean, what does he get out of that? And what does that do for us if we need him to play? Yep. I want these young guys. I would have no problem making Kyer Elam a protected practice squad member if he was going to a developmental league where he's going to learn how to be a cornerback against routes, where he's going to learn concepts on the pro level by some kind of coach. It doesn't have to be anybody on the Bills staff per se. It doesn't have to be Jamal Adai. It doesn't have to be any of those guys, but because they got their own stuff they got to deal with. But there should be auxiliary staff present for these guys to work with. Your quarterback's coach, your wide receiver coach, people like that.
Right.
But instead, no, let's let them sit there and let's make sure we keep them. We got to keep the ones we need because we're never going to use them, but they can't go nowhere else.
Yep. We've missed so many comments. I really apologize, guys.
We got time. Go ahead. What you got?
Steve says GM misses the moment. Coach, that just isn't it. A Hall of Fame quarterback being wasted in his prime with lack of talent everywhere, while fans lose years watching other teams win.
Steve Lynn, my guy.
He figured it out.
My guy.
Ding, ding. Let me see. Laura says it's almost insulting. Diggs got a year in Texas. Did they not believe in him? And yes, we can make it. We can make the he has an attitude argument. It's Steph Diggs. I think he actually wanted that.
He wanted 1 year.
Yeah, he wanted those years to be voided.
That's why he wanted to go. That was part of it. They agreed to void the last 2 on him. I mean,
right.
They got to take the hit, but they got the money.
Right.
So that was a good situation for him. Good situation for him. I think he's going to probably go with his brother somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'll be well. His brother's got.
Can they go to Washington? That's what I really want to know. Can they be a Commander together?
Yeah, the Commanders are going to have a lot of salary cap
Because
space.
that's home.
Man, wouldn't that be something if they went there together?
That's home. I mean, it'd be the
Yeah.
perfect ending. Let's
I like
see.
this
I'm
point
looking
from
up- go ahead.
Kev.
Go.
You got it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I like this point from Kev. He says Pittsburgh Packers develop wide receivers and linebackers and DBs. Bills rarely develop anything in the McDermott Bean era.
Safeties.
Yeah, well,
That's pretty much it.
develop safeties.
That's pretty much it. I mean, honestly,
you could say. You could say, well, yeah, you can't say corner because Levi Wallace went to another team and they thought he was going to be a good number one and he wasn't.
He's
just
number two.
wasn't.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
his cap.
Yeah, I mean, here's the other part of that too. We got to see how Jordan Poyer plays in Miami. You know what I mean? Because what I started to say was, I don't know if it's so much development as it is the way the scheme
Could be.
works for the players.
Could be.
You know what I'm saying? Because, once Wallace went somewhere else, didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Once Norman went somewhere else, didn't work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So players in the scheme look great, but outside of the scheme, they don't look so great.
Yeah. Let's see. What's his name? Trayvon Diggs. After 2024, they have an out. I'm sorry. After 2025, they have an out $12 million cap hit. So, yeah, it could be done. Could be done.
And this his last year is next year.
This is
last year.
This could be if they cut
I
him.
thought
or
he was a
wants-
first round pick. He wasn't a first round pick.
5 year.
Yeah, if it's 5 years.
Yeah, he was 5 years, but he can be.
Oh, he got an extension. What is that? $97 million?
Yeah, you got an extension. So after this season, see, that's perfect. Him and his brother. After this season, they both can be free.
And the dead cap hit is only
$12 million.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow, that was a great contract for the Cowboys.
Right.
Man. Oh, snap. Lindsay says, hey, kids. Lindsay, you're not older than me. You're not older than me. I don't know. She says, hey, kids, eating cake for Mom's B-Day. Happy birthday, Mom! Where's the clappers? Get your clapper.
Mirror.
Happy birthday, Mom!
Is it buttercream?
Yeah.
Is what's the filling? Anyway,
It's got it. I mean, if it's gonna be what I think,
she's in Florida, but yeah. I mean, I'm still thinking about Wegmans cake. That's all I care about.
You know what you got to try, bro? There's this. You ever heard of Muscarails up on Niagara Falls Boulevard in Wheatfield?
What is it?
Muscarails.
I've probably seen it.
It's like a wedding cake place, but they do like a bunch of other stuff.
Okay. I've probably seen it.
They have this. It's like a turtle cake, right? But it's like, you know how like the like regular chocolate turtles are like chocolate covered, caramel. Caramel and pecan cluster, right?
Yep.
Well, this turtle cake has I think it's what is it? What is it? Walnuts? Is it walnuts that are in it, or something like that? Cashews, walnuts, something like that. But it's a devil chocolate cake covered in I think it's like fudge, right? With like chocolate filling, with the caramel drizzle on the outside, and it's got like the pecans like just kind of baked into it, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's the best thing the best dessert I've ever had in my life. It's the best dessert I've ever had in my life.
You had a twinkle in your eye when you said it.
It's
so I'll go with you on that.
over everything. It's over Junior's cheesecake. Bro. It is over. I'm telling you, if you haven't tried it yet, and you local, go to Muscarails, Niagara Falls Boulevard. Roy, is better than ice cream cake. It's better than ice cream cake. I know ice cream cake is like up there, but this is way better. Trust me. A pound cake? No, this is better than pound cake too. Pound cake is good.
You said, "Oh, you insult a pound cake."
Man, you putting pound cake against it? Yo, okay, listen, Muscarels. I'm telling you, Muscarels is like Muscareils. Muscarels. That might not even be how they say it, but
Good enough.
yeah, check them people out, man. Very very nice lady too. I think we went there to look at their prices for wedding cakes and stuff for our wedding. But anyway, any final thoughts on the 1 year contract thing? I did put a poll up and I think it finally got out of the 50-50 situation.
Nope, I got nothing on that.
Nothing? Okay,
I just hate it. But
I put up a poll that says, should the NFL offset the current player salary balloon with a larger cap increase? And I was asking that because the thought was, if you really want to alleviate where the NFL is going to be in a few years with wide receiver salaries and quarterback salaries and edge rusher salaries, it's going to be very, very tough for teams to pay quarterbacks and wide receivers and edge rushers and everybody else. Mm-hmm. And you're going to start to see not just salaries dip, but if there's no money to be made in the NFL, you're going to see talent dip too. You know what I'm saying? So
I think a lot of this has to do. A lot of teams have it down pat. See, they have it to the point where their salary cap number looks bad, but their team is built right. You know, you look at, like we said, Joe Burrows. You look at, even Mahomes and people like that. They have the number one offensive line, or the number one pass catching tight end, or the number one, room around them. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. I mean, I don't know how much I care about Derrick Henry being with Lamar Jackson just because he's older. I mean, I know he's big and all that, but the point is, that's the kind of move when you're talking about a guy who played with what's the guy's name, J.K. Dobbins and people like that. These little guys, you want this big imposing guy to offset the quarterback, which was the Lightning.
Yep.
So their salary cap number looks bad, but in actuality, their team construct is better than the Bills.
Way better.
Because like we said before, the offensive line, they're not that great. They just happen to be good because Josh Allen does what he does. Wide receivers,
they have one elite player, like a left tackle who's actually elite.
The guy.
Who's like one of the best young tackles in the league. And then they have Makari, who he was another one of those guys where he kind of rolled around the league a little bit because I think he was with the Patriots before he went to the Ravens, but eventually he found his spot in Baltimore where he kind of he settled into a role and became a good player there.
Right.
And now he's getting paid like one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Every team puts their money in a concentrated place for a reason, especially when they have a quarterback. They draft for that quarterback, or they put their money into that quarterback and fill out the draft picks elsewhere. But the Bills just don't seem to have a philosophy. They don't have a vision, like I've always said. They don't have what you would expect. And Steve said, wasting a franchise quarterback, you kind of are. And the thing is, when you're talking about that person that responded to my post, I'm not going to dwell on the 4-year quarterback because that means nothing in 2024.
Exactly.
That it was fun while it lasted, but I'm not sitting on the couch with my JV football jersey on anymore. I'm different. I'm grown. I want more. You gave me a franchise quarterback. You gave me Stephon Diggs. You gave me Von Miller's and a dynamic safety tandem, and all we can do is wild card. Bert. I'm not happy with that.
Yep.
I'm not happy with that at all, and you can't convince me otherwise. Is Josh Allen the best dual threat quarterback of all time? Maybe, maybe not. You can use stats, you can use your personal opinion to push it either way. But the point is, as Steve said, 2 + 2 ain't equaling 4 at one Bills drive.
Yeah. So Lindsay said we love Wegmans cake. We bought one while we were in Buffalo in May. We both do too. That's why Keyshawn was talking about the buttercream with the strawberry filling, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Laura says I get 2 things from Wegmans and it's $42, but it's delicious. And that reminded me of like going to the hot bar when the hot bar used to be like legit. They used to have a lot of stuff there. Like I literally put like 2 chicken wings and some shrimp fried rice or something like that, and my thing is freaking $21.
You're
I'm
like,
yo, what the
scrape
heck?
that back on in the scrape that back on in the thing. I don't need to eat this today.
It's like I can't eat at that place. I
Right,
can't,
no.
but the hot bar, man, the hot bar, they used to have some really, really good food. They used to before COVID, man. They used to be the spot. They used to be the spot.
They still got good wings.
Let me see. Roy says, if I remember correctly, the last time I had a cake that wasn't Betty Crocker was 1990 when I got married. Man, that's a long time to go without like different types of cake.
Just Betty Crocker, man.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with Betty Crocker. I rock with Betty Crocker.
I mean, hey.
But Laura says the hot bar was everything. They had vegetarian section there. Wait. Oh, that's right. You are vegetarian. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
I am the opposite of vegetarian.
Yeah, for
I'm
real
carnivorous,
expensive.
so sorry.
There what?
I'm carnivorous.
Yeah.
You should have saw my grill yesterday. Meat on top of meat on top of meat. Man, I made chicken thighs, chicken legs, chicken breasts, Italian sausage, hot dogs, Polish sausage.
Did you
I shared some.
you shared some?
Yeah,
Wait,
some.
you prepared it and everything? Like you beat the meat and everything? You did all that?
Yeah.
Why you look so mad? Why?
He gonna kill you. He gonna kill
He
you.
looks like a dissatisfied parent just turning around and looking at his
He gonna
child
kill you.
misbehaving.
Yeah.
Like, you were dead silent over there the whole episode.
He's like, hey, yo.
Right? The way he turned around was just kind of like,
I do not approve of this message. Hey, yo.
oh my gosh! All right, it's time to get you fired. You ready? We got to get you out of here before Buffalo has a traffic epidemic in their hands. The police cannot catch this 2022 Ford Explorer.
Like 94 when OJ was running.
Yeah.
I was gonna see it and everything.
Oh my gosh! All right, let me see where we're at here. All right, you ready? All right, this is the end of the show because you are hearing music now. That is why. So if you if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when I remember to put out notifications, because apparently that ain't happening. But I'm 40 and it's okay because I can make excuses for my age now.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
That's right.
Blame me.
Yo, we need. I gotta put it. I'm putting that on the button. I'm putting that on the button. That's it. So anyway, oh yeah, does Roy live in Buffalo? Roy, you in Buffalo, man? Let me know. So yeah, the other part of this is my son Junie. Listen, he showed me his page the other day. Steady growth, and I love it. But if you haven't checked it out already, what are you waiting for? Basketball Truth and Knowledge is the name of the podcast. He's on YouTube. You got an Instagram page too, right? Hit him up on Instagram if you need to know anything about basketball. The man just lives, eats, and breathes basketball. He is basketball, all right? That has been it for us. Our social media links are in the description if you want to get a hold of us, talk about whatever, if you have ideas for the show, all of that. Let us know, all right? This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
This is key.
We out, baby.
Deuces.